got another motherfucking notification. 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 Why did I get a Twitch notification? Oh, that's not important at all. Whoops. Damn. Flip that motherfucker like hell. We're doing that late night Manic episode. Late night Manic episode. I'm rocking on you. Do what you do. I'm rocking on the YouTubes. I'm rocking on the YouTubes. And the game on back on rain. What's up, Lightning? He's first in the game on through. Came on through. Coming through to YouTube. How are you doing? I'm doing fine. Back in the Sunday night leg grind. Running through the phase, I'm gonna lose time. Cause I'm doing this close to 9. Ew. Drill's the king of tofu. The king of tofu. Don't really get that reference, Lightning. Not gonna lie, that went right over my head. And apparently, fucking the app is not showing what it needs to, so I need to copy. Yeah, I see the chat. It's not doing its job. So it's fine. Disconnected. Hey. Then we're going to get rid of all of that. Connect. There we go. What's up, Orion Sword? You should see it now. So that should be good. I never set up this super chat stuff, so I'm not going to right now. We'll give it a couple more minutes and then we'll jump into it. This one's kind of a weird episode because, to be real with you, there's not a lot of news topics that's happened over the week. So there's not a lot to go over. So we're kind of going to just be kind of fumbling through it. Luckily, Juice did a Juice Opinions yesterday that kind of triggered a conversation topic in me. But like, really, this will be more of the Q&A. Let's talk what you guys want to talk about kind of episode. Let's see. That's on Twitter. Also, that's an RE reference in case you don't know. I don't see the chat displayed. The king of tofu. I was just watching Nintendo's history and it's really put it in its future into perspective. Well, we can have a conversation. I haven't played a lot of Dragon Quest 11. I think, where am I? I'm still pretty early. Like, I haven't even gotten like Veronica yet. So I'm pretty early in that. I've been primarily kind of focusing on Fire Emblem, which is kind of a weird situation with me because Fire Emblem right now, I would say I'm like, what is that? I have like 4 more chapters in Rhea's storyline. I just got to the time skip in the Black Eagle storyline because honestly, I always like to play those games all three paths, but like due to other games coming out and me being kind of distracted with work and other things that like I haven't put as much time into that game as I wanted to. I say this, but if I checked how much time I have in it right now, let's see. Let's humor it. Like I said, I didn't have a lot of time in Dragon Quest. Let's see how many hours I have in Fire Emblem. I still have a good amount of hours in Fire Emblem. I just haven't finished the storyline yet. I have 110 hours in Fire Emblem. I have only 5 hours in the Dragon Quest. I have about 5 hours into the Astral Chain, which are like the 3 Nintendo games I need to focus on. What harems? I haven't really seen any harem anime come out that has interested me, which is probably the reason why I haven't watched any harem anime. That's what you're specifically referring to. But yeah, I guess we'll start with some minor stuff. So the first minor thing we can talk about is that for some fucking reason, the Tokyo Mirage Sessions situation seems to be weird. So here's the situation with Tokyo Mirage Sessions. For those who may or may not know, Tokyo Mirage Sessions comes out in January of next year, I believe. And recently there was an update on the Japanese site that changed Tsubasa's like uncensored outfit to her censored one. But that was only on the Japanese website. The other weird thing, which kind of gets into the weird censorship situation with that game in general, that for some reason now granted, Nintendo is known, just throwing it out here, Nintendo is usually known for showing like the clean version or like the family friendly version in the promotion of a game, and like even if the game has erotic shit in it, they don't overly focus on it. A good example of this, I believe, would have been the No More Heroes 3 trailer, where there's an uncensored version of that trailer that has a bunch of blood in it, but the version they shown in the Nintendo Direct was just the censored version that still had him slashing enemies, but there was no blood whatsoever. Another example of that is I think Senran Kagura, when Peach Beach Ball was announced, they had all the characters in their normal outfits and not their sexualized outfits, even though you could still get the sexualized outfits in the game. Or was it Reflections? The point is, Nintendo has been known in promotional material to show the censored stuff. They don't necessarily show the uncensored version of certain games, not on like streams and shit or like promotional material. Not saying it's not in there, but still. So there's a particular situation with that. Actually, just to prove the point, let's go check Nintendo's website. I'm curious if Senran Kagura even shows the censored stuff, because if it doesn't, it would prove my point, but I'm not 100% sure. Well, I'm just going to check real quick for the sake of it. It's also kind of funny to go on the Nintendo site and be searching Senran and Kagura. There's literally like... That is like the game you would not be searching. Although that one does have an age rating, which is kind of funny, but let's see. That would be... But I know at least in promotional material, they tend not to... Yeah. Yeah, look. I'm gonna put it up right now. Just to prove the point I was making. If Fire Emblem Warriors 2 is in development, it better not be like the Three Houses show. That's all I'm going to say about that. Let's see. Webpage. I hate how it doesn't let me right click to show it, but it's still there. And of course, it's weird. It makes me do... Y'all know my birthday, but this isn't a big deal. I've talked about this being my birthday, so that's besides the point. But yeah, even Senran Kagura, the cover is like the most sexualized thing. But if you scroll down, they have all the characters in their censored outfits. They're all in their like safe for work outfits. None of them are in their ecchi outfits. So it could be a situation that they're just hiding it that way. Can we even look up Tokyo Mirage Sessions? Yo. Yeah, there's a Switch version. I'm just curious. Because Token Mirage Sessions might do the same thing. They might be just showing the censored images on the site, but you can still get the uncensored stuff. That might be the case. Now, granted, that's an assumption on my part, but that's what I'm thinking. They're not going to show the censored material on the site or in promotional material, but it might still be in the game. That's my guess anyway. So there is still hope, because it seems weird for Nintendo to be like perfectly cool with all these other anime like opie games, but for some reason Tokyo Mirage Sessions is where they're like, oh, we gotta draw the line here. I legitimately believe, actually, that scene with Tsubasa is it even here? No, even on the English site, they don't even show the Tsubasa's picture they change, which is her like, it's the scene where I think she's like singing and dancing and like her outfit's different. Well, that's my guess, that they're only showing that for promotional reasons, they're only going to show that. But like any other way, you'd be perfectly fine. I'm trying to think of if there's another game. What's another anime game that's like this? That's an ecchi kind of title that you can't get anywhere else. Oh, well, I don't even think I can find Dead or Alive on here. Can I? No. What is it? There's another game I can think of. Just to prove the point, and then I'll move on. Those are the only two things. Like, the censorship thing was the main thing. Oh, what about Omega? Yeah, Omega Labyrinth Life. I'm surprised that doesn't show any. Because Omega Labyrinth Life is another sexualized game. Yeah, it's the photo shoot. Here they show, yeah, look. I'm thinking that's, well, only Chambra isn't on Switch. That's why I can't use that one, Lightning. But yeah, this proves my point. This is the most sexual thing is this damn artwork here, which is the only, like, kind of suggestible thing. But considering I believe this is, like, part of the cover, everything else, like gameplay screenshots, they only show, like, the normal stuff, not the fucking... So I'm thinking that might be the case, that it's still uncensored, but for the sake of promotion, they're going to show the censored stuff for the sake of it. So that's the idea I'm running with. I mean, we'll see in the future, but that's just the idea I think that's going on, that they're inherently like, we're not going to promote the sexualized version of it, but it's 100% uncensored, and they're just using the censored footage for the sake of promotion. That's my guess. The other thing was, I'm trying to think, it was the censorship with Tokyo Mirage Sessions. There was something else. I would say there isn't really any Pokemon news. It's just Pokemon's in my mind because of some videos I watched recently on the whole situation. That kind of puts things into perspective. What's up, Twin Dagas? A few of the Pokemon things I've been put in perspective. There was a video put out today by... let me look through my history because I watched it like a few hours ago. Where are you? I like how my history is a fucking mess in here. Where the fuck is it? I just watched it like a few, like I even, oh, the Smon, is it the Smonroe Show, I think is the name of the channel? If that's how you pronounce it. I want to say Smonroe, or the S. Monroe Show. But I think it's the Smonroe Show. I might. The point is, they put out a video, or he put out a video is what I should say. Well, Horror Warriors says ecchi moments, but not like not enough. Well, the anime Pokemon that'll probably be talked about in KG's podcast tomorrow. So there's really no point in me going over it right now. But the point I was trying to do was, but yeah, he put out a video today talking about the whole Sword and Shield situation. And although I agree with his video I think mentions a few things that I agree with, but I also kind of gets into my overarching opinions. Control F. Oh, no, I found it already, Static. I appreciate it, though. For example, he mentions how reusing models isn't inherently a bad thing. It's more so the issue of what you're doing with those models. Because a lot of games reuse models. Because the mod, like, you might have to do some minor upgrades or tweaks to them, but for certain games, it's perfectly fine to reuse models as long as you're like doing something new. And I guess the issue with Pokemon, and I think the problem was is that like with this whole national Dex fiasco, I feel like a lot of Pokemon fans kind of forgot that like to me that's like one of the least of Game Freak's issues is the fucking national Dex though. The national Dex to me, and because he also mentions he also uses for example, he's responding to a critique where someone's like, oh, well, if you have with the removal of the national Dex, you now have a more curated Pokédex for Sword and Shield. And then his response is, well, we already had a curated Pokédex. It was called the regional Dex, which I understand is a fair statement, but my issue is more so that do you notice what's happened with the regional Dex since probably Generation 5? Generation 5 and 3 are the only two generations that, for the most part, their regional Dex is only that region's Pokemon. Whereas in later games, even in Black and White 2, mind you, when the games came out, the regional Dex always had old Pokemon in it. Even Hoenn has it, but it's to a very small degree. But they do have some old Pokemon in Hoenn's regional Dex. But people were tripping just for the fact that like there weren't enough old Pokemon in the regional Dex. To the point that we're now like in Kalos and in Alola, we've had pretty much old Pokemon in every regional Dex, moving since like Black and White 2. Am I inviting peeps to the stream? I usually do these alone. I haven't really played with the idea of inviting people to these streams. It kind of depends if it's like a slow news week. And I have to like know in advance because I also don't want these things to carry on for 3 hours because it's a Sunday fucking night and I have to work tomorrow. So that's usually what happens. But not this time. I'll probably if I want to do it, I will let people know in advance. But not like in the moment. Not for these anyway. But yeah, like my issue was more so like the biggest issue I've always seen with Pokemon moving forward is that people for some reason going into a new region only really care about the old Pokemon. Now I'm not saying everyone's like that, but a lot of them trip. Do people remember the backlash they got for Generation 5 for just having your Nova Pokemon in the regional Dex as if that shit was unrealistic or something? It's the regional Dex. It's supposed to only have the Pokemon that come from that region. And people were mad, oh, I couldn't get my Generation 4, 3, 2, 1 Pokemon until I beat the fucking game. People were tripping then off of dumb shit. And like I said, that to me is the part of the argument that I find absolutely insane. Because I've also been a promoter and people have known that I've mentioned this a few times that I'm perfectly cool with an idea that I'm perfectly cool with an idea of a Pokemon game that doesn't have new Pokemon in it. But the trade-off with that is, and it kind of gets into his whole, I think his overarching issue is that like, if you're going to make certain changes that people would view as a negative change, there has to be something to correlate. Like, it has to be a trade-off. Like if I'm losing like a certain amount of Pokemon in the Dex, that means I have to get something in return to justify you taking them away. And like I said before, Pokemon's PR was so fucking bad with handling this because they said, oh, I need to do high quality animations and shit. And people were like, don't. And I was like, damn it, because that's like the worst reasoning. Now, to try to be an open-minded individual, I try to look at both sides of the situation. I understand that people have their frustrations with Game Freak, and I have my own frustrations with Game Freak. But it's not that. It pisses me off that like those are the things that people are annoyed about. Stupid things like the Dex and the fucking animations. Like the things I'm more concerned with is the fact that, like, for example, it was recently announced, I think it was this week during the whole Game Informer like news info that autosaving is confirmed and that experience share is like baked into the game. And it's weird. Pokemon's like the only RPG where people are kind of like autosaving isn't like a super. Yeah, I'm sorry about the Anime Reaper, but thank you for showing up anyway. Try to click the notification bell as much as you can, but thank you for showing up regardless. But yeah, they announced how experience share is now baked into the game, and I always wondered why is it out of all the JRPGs I play, why is this game the one game where I'm always like iffy about the experience share? And it wasn't until today I came to the realization of what the problem is. The game's difficulty doesn't scale to justify having experience share. Experience share is cool. Like Dragon Quest 11 has experience share in it. Like has that whole every party member gets experience in a battle, which is fucking great. But the reason why it irked me in Pokemon is that Pokemon isn't a difficult enough game to justify having all this equality in terms of it. That's like to me, the biggest concern in Pokemon is fuck the decks, fuck the animations. It's the difficulty of the title, because having a cakewalk of a game is what fucking drives me insane. You will lose older fans just for the sake of like unlike that. That's enough to burn a lot of older fans, because like I like Alola and I respect Alola for what it tried to do, but the one thing I really fucking couldn't stand, actually, and I will still say Kalos is the fucking worst. Kalos is 100% the worst with holding your hand. Alola has that long ass tutorial in the beginning, and it also isn't a hard game. But it's like, dude, these games aren't hard enough for me to even need this kind. It's like, oh, it's almost like they didn't understand giving me experience share, but not balancing enough with the difficulty meant that essentially I could steamroll every gym in the game. Yeah, Pokemon used to be inherently harder. I mean, hell, go watch it's TSS's playthrough, but it's on Tyrone's channel of the Emerald playthrough. Emerald is a hard fucking game. I've already died a couple times doing my Black 1 game. Like, difficulty is like one of my biggest frustrations. The other thing is the stupid, oh, I finally got rid of HMs, which is great. I love that HMs are gone. Those are one of the most archaic things that was still in Pokemon. But you know what the difference is? But you know what the other issue correlating with that is? Losing HMs doesn't mean I should lose exploration, which unfortunately is exactly what's happened. You took away HMs and then barely gave me any exploration, even though you gave me ride Pokemon to use. Oris's exploration is about the tier I'm cool with, but like that needs to be the norm, because Kalos barely had any fucking exploration. Alola barely had any exploration. You're on the Switch. If you're going to take away the HMs, give me exploration still. It's aggravating. Oh, hey, TSS Killer. It's so weird to see your YouTube icon. It's funny. Yeah, like if you're, and that's my thing. Like, and maybe that's the trade-off. Maybe if you make experience share like a part of the game's mechanics, you can then scale the gyms accordingly. I'm hoping that's what it is. I'm hoping to God that's what they're going for. It's like, hey, look, I now experience share is something that we always know is going to be happening, so we can account for it. AKA, we can now scale the difficulty up to match with the experience share, because now you have a thing to look at. I'm hoping that's what it is, because it aggravates the fuck to me. It aggravates me. It aggravates the fuck out of me that like we can go through that like I can start steamrolling gym leaders probably after the first or second one. Hey Red Dragon, hey Brad, hey Kuro Blitz. I'm trying to make sure I didn't miss anyone else, and obviously hey TSS Killer. Let's see. Gen 3 did it the best way possible. You only get the experience share if you do the Steven side quest, and no one gives you the Master Ball. It's hidden in the Aqua hideout, and no one tells you where it is. I don't think that's the best. It's more of the like it's optional, but if there's no way for you to figure it out, I feel like that's a little unfair. But that's only if I'm not even against the idea of you turning it off or not, but you better scale the game's difficulty around it. That's the problem that these games have had. They don't scale the difficulty around these Pokemon. You can't it's weird because even I want to say it might have been Kalos, but I want to say it was Alola where they added that thing where if you did Pokemon on me with your Pokemon, they became like borderline Jesus, where like you could dodge certain attacks, you would wake up early from being put to sleep, you could get rid of status effects because the love of you and your Pokemon was so strong. That is like a cool mechanic in theory, but it's borderline broken. Like the point is like it's not an adventure, it's not a challenge. Like even if we're looking at the correlation with the anime, you cannot have a situation where like Ash in the anime is struggling more than I am because I can just steamroll through these guys without even trying. Like people always think that a difficult game will push away players, but an easy game makes people numb to the experience. An easy game becomes such a fucking like slog that by the time you hit the end of it, it's almost like you run into the wall. It's like there's the ending, and you don't even realize you've hit it because you're so uninterested and unengaged because the game is so fucking easy. Yeah, that mechanic just got really fucking broken. I like it in theory, but I really, in retrospect, it did not. Once again, you have to scale the game for these things. If you give me an ability to, like, think about it. If I had Pokemon Refresh and Experience Share, my team was broken. There was no way I was going to lose any fucking fight moving forward unless I just didn't know the matchup with any of the new Pokemon. That's the only way I was going to lose in Sun and Moon. Because Sun and Moon was a broken ass, like, that shit was a broken fucking mechanic. So my like difficulty is a huge thing for me. And exploration is just as important to me because I don't really care if the areas are linear. That's not my issue. But Pokemon is about the adventure. So to me, not having the ability to explore, and I feel like the wild area will scratch that itch to a degree. I want it to be a situation where I can like truly enjoy the experience because fucking Sun and Moon, I enjoy the fuck out of the characters. I think they finally have nailed characters again because Kalos was fucking garbage. I feel like Sun and Moon was a very good step in the right direction. But man, that tutorial in the beginning and how the game isn't as open as I would like it to be just fucking sucks. Pokemon being harder. And look, and here's my other thing. Like recently we found out that, I think not recently, but it was like a while ago we found out they were putting nurses in the gyms, which is fine. I'm perfectly cool with you putting nurses in the gyms because it's an optional thing. If I don't want to use the nurse, I don't have to use the nurse. But if I want to use the nurse, I can double back into the gym and use the nurse. That's great. But if you're going to put nurses in the gyms better be hard enough to justify the nurses. You can't just give me a fucking gym that has like, and that's the other thing I feel like people aren't looking at Sword and Shield. Sword and Shield has a few quality of life improvements that I'm fucking down with. For even some of the old shit we were showing, like the fact that your bike now just smoothly transitions onto riding on water. That is great. And whereas in every other fucking game, I had to walk to the edge of a goddamn land and click A and then press the prompt to use surf to go glide across the water, or even in Sun and Moon, I had to use the fucking Pokeride system, but you still have to goddamn select it. At least now it's literally, I can take my bike onto the water. That's such a cool fucking thing. But once again, don't give me this shit and I can't do nothing with it. Unlimited TMs was introduced in Gen 5, I believe. Yeah, it was Gen 5 is when it was introduced. But like Pokemon's had a lot of cool quality of life changes. But when you do all these small things that makes the experience more fun, make the game harder. You've given me a bunch of extra shit I can do. Make the game harder. Now, there have been rumors and they talked about max raid battles being challenging, which is fine. But I also don't want the main game to be a fucking cakewalk. Remember when you played fucking, when you had good level design, like for example, it's not the best thing to be fair, but it was a nice step. And what I'm referring to was in Johto. In Johto, you fought Price, the 7th gym leader, and then you went through an ice cave to catch an ice Pokemon, so that when you went out of it, you could fight Claire and use either the gym itself to level up that ice type, or go grind it out later, and then guess what? You could fight Claire relatively easily. But Claire was still fucking hard because you gave her a Dragonair, which is literally, at that time, I don't think it had any weaknesses other than Dragon. I think Dragon was the only thing that could hurt it. Oh yeah, because he had level 18 Eldegoss when it's Dynamax, which, once again, and that's the things I'm concerned with. Like, I can understand people being concerned about the new Pokemon Sword and Shield. I can understand that based off of some things they've removed. But if people, but the reason why I'm still like relatively positive, but like trying to keep my neutral stance to a degree, is because there's been a bunch of small quality of life changes that can really work out in the long run if implemented correctly. And the fact that they've done like a cool mix. Like even people were mad that, oh, there's no Pokemon on the overworld, even though they confirmed in an interview that there is. Not outside the wild area, there are overworld Pokemon, but there are also Pokemon in the grass, which is a great fucking compromise that I can still get my wild battles, but if I happen to see a shiny in the overworld, room, I can walk up to it. That's a good, like, that's the thing. There's a bunch of small shit in here that can be equal up to a great game. But I'm telling you, the two things that are gonna fuck this game is if the difficulty is low as shit or there's no expiration. And I think I'm fine on the latter. I don't know about the former. The former, if that Milo demo is anything to go, if the Milo stuff is anything to go by, this could be fun as hell. I just don't know. That's part of the reason why I'm reserving my major like Pokemon critiques until like after the game's release, because right now we just don't know. What's up, Nitro? How are you doing, sir? Hell, another thing I liked was the fact that when I played the Sun and Moon, the Sword and Shield demo, the fact that just because you Dynamax doesn't mean I automatically die to the move. Which in Mega Evolutions, that was not the fucking... In Megas, you could literally get one shot. Just because a Pokemon Mega evolved, which is fucking insane. But we'll see how that goes in the long road. But we'll see. For right now, I'm trying to be relatively positive on it. I just need a topic, honestly, Jamin. It's not that I'm against doing them. I just have to have a good topic to do one on. And I've done a lot of the ones I've already wanted to do already. So that's kind of the issue with that. Also, since we're like 30 minutes into this, I might as well mention it so people don't forget. Don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to like and comment and favorite and share. That shit all helps out. Super chats are appreciated, but they are not required. The three main social medias to follow me on is Twitch, YouTube, and Twitter. Twitter is at the Game Manic. Twitch is at the Insane Game Freak. And then obviously YouTube is the Insane Game Freak. Subscribe, hit the notification bell. All that good stuff. I appreciate the support, dude. 25 people. I got 25 people in here. That's fucking great. Especially when I don't even warn you guys in advance most of these times. So it's great. I appreciate it. I mean, wait a minute, let's go. To be fair, I didn't play Let's Go Eevee and Pikachu. Let's Go Eevee and Pikachu was such a casualized experience. It didn't look fun to me. Since go have Ash will ever get Grookey or Sobble or both. If Ash gets Grookey, I want to see its evolution. If we look at Ash's starter situation, which if we ignore generations 1 and 2 where he had all 3 starters, 3 he had a grass starter. 4 he had 2 of them again, which was the fighter and grass starter. In Gen 5 he had all 3 of them. No. Yeah, he had all 3 of them. In Gen 5, and in Gen 6 he only had the water starter. In Gen 7 he only had the fire starter. More than likely, they'll probably give him Grookey. I don't see them giving him Sobble. Either they'll give him Grookey. Grookey is the one that makes the most sense. Because he hasn't had a grass starter in a while. His last time he had a grass starter actually was in Generation 5. And Snivy, I love Snivy to death, but it was definitely the most underplayed of the 3. Even though I love it to death. So I could see it probably being Grookey. I'm actually surprised they didn't give him Score Bunny. And then they'll probably give the girl Sobble, depending on what her goal is. Yeah, Let's Go has some weird mechanical issues. That's the whole thing. Did I ever see the... Yeah, I talked about it. Did you ever see the? Yeah. I actually, there's a review of it on the anime channel, which is. Oh, that's true. He hit Rowlet. I would say Grookey though. I forgot about Rowlet. I was thinking of Torcat. He just had a water one in Greninja. I'm gonna say either they're gonna give him Salvo and Grookey or just Grookey. I think Grookey's a definite. I think Salvo is optional though. But yeah, check out my anime channel Manic if you want to see the Detective Pikachu review I did with a bunch of cool fucking people. But at the risk of turning this into a fucking oh, you're JC Smith. I just realized that. Well, thanks for the follow and thanks for watching me on YouTube, Jamin. I appreciate it. I almost missed that comment. But for the sake of this turning into another Pokemon cast thing, we're gonna shift gears and talk about the title of the fucking video, Nintendo's future. So Juice, Terminator Juice, the Juices Loose podcast, which I'm on, you can catch that every Monday. So we'll be doing an episode tomorrow. I forgot if I put his YouTube channel in my thing still. If not, just look up Terminator Juice. If you need that link, I'll mention it. Yeah, I saw that the girl has Yamper. I saw all that. So let's talk about Nintendo's future. So he put out a Juice Opinions talking about moving forward because we recently got some information from Sony about what they're going to do in terms of the PlayStation 5. They confirmed that's a 2020 probably holiday release. So we're gonna definitely have a new PlayStation console by the end of 2020, and it brings up the question: what is Nintendo going to do? Nintendo has always been different about the way it approaches its consoles almost every fucking generation. I would say starting probably with the N64, and it has been, although it's either I would say either the N64 or the GameCube. It's one of those two. I can see you going either way on it. I probably would say the N64 personally, but I could see it definitely start. It definitely was here by the GameCube. Nintendo has always been very non-traditional about how it handles its consoles. So with that being stated, how do you deal with the next console generation when we already have games still coming out this year that are struggling on the Xbox One and PlayStation 4? Like there are just certain, like you had games running at 720p on the Xbox, like, and we got what, The Witcher coming out in a couple of days in the US anyway. I think it's already out in like other regions, but it's Tuesday the 15th on in the US. The question then becomes, what's Nintendo going to do? Because in a lot of ways, I think when the Switch Lite was coming out, the Switch Lite was talking about how Nintendo had to push heavy, like Nintendo had to get aggressive about getting the Switch Lite to $200, which is why they took out every extra feature they could justify taking out. And so the question I think Juice was proposing in his video is like, well, what's Nintendo going to do? Because obviously the Switch itself is not going to hang to a new generation, especially if Sony takes off like they did this year. I mean, this generation, where they ran away with murder. Now, in the previous video, I had mentioned something along the lines that I don't think Sony's gonna be able to run away with this next gen the way they ran away with the that is kind of a tongue twister in itself. The way they ran away with this generation. And that all hinges on how well Xbox and Nintendo position themselves. Nintendo, at least going into the beginning of next year, has said, yo, we're gonna keep hitting you with heavy hitting games. And a lot of me personally was thinking that would probably be enough to hang. If they can maintain a steady stream of games, they could probably hang with PlayStation. It all kind of depends on what comes with this new generation. It would not surprise me. Now, obviously, I do believe in the Switch Pro. I mean, think about it. They've already kind of sped up that kind of part of their development cycle way quicker than earlier. Like during Juice's podcast, we were talking about, oh, well, the DS had refreshes, the 3DS had refreshes, the Game Boy Advance had refreshes. Some of them were weaker, some of them were light versions, and some of them were pro versions. Nintendo has always, for the most part, released light versions over pro versions, unless the. Actually, I think in every case, I think there was a DS Lite before we had a DSi. There was a Game Boy Advance might be different. I think it was Game Boy Advance SP, then Game Boy Micro, which was a weird fucking console, but hey, that existed. Then you had the 3DS. I want to say you had the new 3DS. I want to say the 2DS came out before the new 3DS. I'm not 100% sure, but that's what I want to say. I want to say the 2DS came out before the new 3DS. I could just check it like a smart person. Let's check it real quick, but I'm pretty sure the 2DS came out before the new 3DS line did. So let's see real quick. I just needed a quick Wikipedia article and they didn't want to give it to me. There we go. Here we go. So we have the 3DS, which came out in 2011. Doesn't really talk about the other variations of it, which is kind of annoying. Fine, I gotta look that up separately. The 2DS came out, I want to say 2013 is what it says. And then the new 3DS came out. Yeah, I thought the Game Boy Advance SP came out before. The Game Boy Advance is more the exception. And then you had new the new 3DS, which came out. It didn't come out no fucking 2017. Came out 2014 or 15, depending on. Came out 2015 or 14. But the point I'm making is the point I'm making is inherently that like Nintendo for the most part puts out a light and then puts out a pro. Now, like I said, the turnover for the Switch is a lot quicker because the Switch has only been out for around a little bit over 2 years, and here comes a light, and then in another year we'll probably get the pro. But the thing I'm concerned about is how much are people willing to put for a pro, because I still think the parts are high, and that's the major fucking concern. You can't just you're not going to be able to just put out a pro like and depending on how strong the pro is. Now, considering the way they've handled all their other handhelds, the pro for the Switch, if we're going by that line of thinking, isn't going to be that much stronger, which is going to be a fucking problem because the Switch has the struggle of being a console and a handheld. So it's like, how much more stuff can you throw in and still keep the price reasonable? And I guess the question I'm going to pose to you guys is, if they came out with a pro, how strong would it have to be for you to pay for? I think $400 is the most they could get away with a pro, and even that is fucking pushing it. If the Switch Pro was $400, how strong does it need to be to justify that for you? Because the highest I could see it being is either stronger, but maybe somewhere around the Xbox One strength, or a little bit stronger than that, but not as strong as the PlayStation 4. Like, that would be my guess. That, like, if they came out with a Pro for $400, it need to be at least somewhere around either Xbox One or going into PlayStation 4 power. which is dangerous because that's like implying that you can fit an Xbox One into your hands for $400 in 2021 or whatever the fuck. And that's dangerous. They made a Nintendo DS Lite when Downer Pro released, and then they made a new X and Y release. And then a Switch Lite when the Gen 8 released. That's funny. Yeah, that's the other thing. Like, what would you... And that's the other thing. We're just talking about improving the power of the Switch. Does that mean the Joy-Cons change at all? Like, do we take features in it? Do we take features out? What do we do? A Switch Pro can be as strong as a PlayStation 4. Yeah, but the problem is, Chidori, we're talking about mass producing this shit at an affordable price. And here's the thing. Having it be as strong as a PlayStation 4 Pro means you now have to have a battery and cooling that can focus all that power without overheating the fuck out of the system. And that's the dangerous situation. Like, if you had a Switch Pro that is as strong as a PlayStation 4 Pro, there ain't no way. The PlayStation 4 Pro currently has issues with being like loud as fuck with its fans and shit. And you're going to fit all that power into a small ass handheld? And then do you improve the CPU? That's the other thing. Are we just improving the graphics, the Tegra chip? Is that all we're doing? And that's where I think the question comes in. Like, how strong would it need to be? Because we're already seeing Xbox One, the base Xbox One, struggle with games, which then makes you go, well, if that's the case, there ain't no way in hell. And then the thing is when you get you still need to have games that run on the normal Switch. They're not gonna, like, I can't imagine them making a Switch Pro where it has exclusive games. They tried that on the new 3DS and it barely fucking worked. It didn't even accomplish really anything. Yeah, and exactly, overheating. You're gonna kill that battery life. That's the other problem. You can't just fucking jack up the power and then expect everything else to stay the same. So and I guess here's the better question. Do you think, what is more likely, a Switch 2 or a Switch Pro? That's a better question. Because by 2021, which is when most people would expect this thing to come out, by 2021, that would be 4 years. Now that's kind of short for a console generation, but Nintendo's console generation is already kind of janky as it is. What is more likely, a Switch Pro or a Switch 2? Now, Street Fighter 4, that was a different kind of game, though. Like, it was... We had plenty of laptops stronger than the Xbox One X. Yeah, but see, that's not the same thing. An Xbox One X and a tablet. Like, the Switch is like the smallest, one of the smallest devices that has a fuck ton of power in it. No, I'm saying, like, most people who thought a Switch Pro would come out, it's probably either going to come out either next year, which seems kind of early, or like 2021. If it's 2021, you could technically see both. You could see a Switch 2 or you could see a Switch Pro. Which would be easier? I would argue it might be smarter to make a Switch 2 than to make a Switch Pro, because then you can get... Because the Switch Pro can then justifiably have differences, have a bigger power gap. Like, they're not like... I can't imagine them doing a mid-console refresh, because in the sense of, like... Because here's the thing, like, a PlayStation 4 and a PlayStation 4 Pro, although has a gap, it's not, like, insane to where PlayStation 4 games shouldn't even be able to run. I mean, PlayStation 4 Pro games shouldn't even be able to run on PlayStation 4. The kind of gap that I think people want from a Switch Pro will literally turn into a situation where, like, bro, we just can't do this on a fucking Nintendo Switch, like a base Nintendo Switch or a Nintendo Switch Lite. Well, I mean, it's more successful. A laptop chip is as small as a chip, a Switch chip. There's a bunch added. So you, Chidori, you believe they could do a Pro that could be just as strong, but how much would it cost? I guess that'd be my question, Chidori. If you believe that thought process to be true, how much would it cost? Because in my mind, I can't see that being just $400. $400 is probably the most they should ever go for this kind of shit. And if it's gonna go that high, it needs to be that strong. But I can't imagine them being that far ahead to be able to be like, because even the Tegra 2 wouldn't get them to there. It would get them close, but not there. Hello, Tashi. You're new. Welcome. And yes, I am a weeb. Although it's weird. This is a gaming fucking channel. I mean, this is the gaming discussion, so this is not really... This is like the worst place you could have put it. I have an anime channel where it would have made way more sense. Either way, hi, welcome. Hope you're doing well. But that would just be my main concern, because the way Nintendo never played the power game. But like the Switch to me is a combination of everything. Tashi, why did you write weeb and then retract the message? You just wrote it twice, but you just capitalized the W. But I guess maybe you wanted to seem more official. Oh yeah, Indivisible. That just came out. And I think the Switch version got delayed, which is the one I'm waiting for. I am a weeb. I'm very open about being a weeb. Well, I'm sorry. I can't do anything about that, unfortunately. I'm not gonna stop being a weeb. We've gone, that's what? Probably 12 years? No. What is that? Like 12, maybe 15 years too late for me? The weeb life is a life you live from till now until the day you motherfucking die. Fuck the bullshit. That's just how I am. What else? I think the one thing people don't take into consideration is when they ask for a Switch Pro. Yeah, it's gonna be that heat consumption. That's gonna be the main concern. Is whether or not you can get that thing. Like the power, I don't even think is the issue. I don't think it's impossible to make a strong ass Switch. How do you make a strong ass Switch that works properly within like a perfectly like respectable battery life, and then also like doesn't burn out? So technically, Tasha, you're a weeb too. You're just like you're just a low tier weeb. Get your weeb game up then, Tashi. The fuck? You can't be out here calling yourself making fun of weebs and shit, but you a low tier weeb? You betrayed Shantae. How did I betray Shantae? Shantae is still bae. Well, no, I understand that, Chidori. Like, I'm not saying like a Switch Pro, but would the Switch Pro just have the Tegra 2 chip in it? Is that all it's gonna have? Now that's feasible. I'm perfectly cool with that. But I don't think would that be enough to appease people? I mean, obviously the main enjoyment of the Switch is to have like a console that has this flexibility, right? Well, then you need to get your weeb level up, Tashi, if you're not a weeb. That's just disappointing. You can't watch anime and not be a weeb? What kind of life you trying to live out here? You out here living fake weeb life? How dare you? Oh, Jesus. What else? Well, I'm not about that life. I would like to go to Japan. I don't need to be Japanese, though. Also, I think most of us don't even breathe anime every day. Actually, I'm probably less into anime now than I used to be. I used to binge it all the time. How did I forget Shantae? The game hasn't come out yet. It's only on the Apple Arcade, and I'm not buying that shit on Apple Arcade. I'm waiting for Shantae to come out on console. Nintendo will never make people pay more than $300. That's the other thing. Nintendo's also pretty cost efficient when it comes to like their consoles. And people have already been shitting on the Switch in terms of its build quality in itself, which tells me there were a lot of sacrifices made just to get the thing at $300. I'm agnostic, so I don't really, I'm indifferent to Jesus. I mean, Shantae is bae. Shantae will always be bae, but I'm just saying, Like, also Nico Robin is more Bay though. Like Nico Robin is life, yo. Um, that's kind of the main situation when it comes to like at least none of us needs to watch sports. Oh yeah, because sports season's going on, and I could give a fuck less about that shit. I was in the gym earlier, and literally everyone's watching the games, and I'm like, I could give a fuck less. Another problem with Switch Pro is that it would split the user base. Well, it depends. Like now, if it's like the Nintendo, like I said, if it's like the DSi power gap, it won't be that big of a deal, and that's Nico Robin but black. Oh, so you mean pre-time skip Nico Robin? I mean, whoa, Lightning! How dare you, sir? How dare you talk down to my girl Nico Robin? What's my favorite food? I don't really have none. Like I'm a pretty simple guy. Usually like a good ass burger is like enough. Bro, get the fuck out of here with that trash. This man put Nami. How dare you? Don't try to retract it. That shit is immortalized on this motherfucking thing now. I know. It's on stream. Everyone will know this man put Nami is my wife. How dare you, sir? Nami has gotten better in the time skip, but man, I'm not about that life. Oda is because Oda sees his wife in her, but that's beside. I mean, boy Hancock is a whole. It's fucking beautiful. Do I watch hentai? No. I have seen hentai, but I don't like watch hentai. You wanna know why this happened? This happened because we deviate too much. But yeah, just Nintendo's future is kind of weird for me. I guess here's the other question, because this is the thought process I was leaning towards. If Nintendo just constantly comes out with games at a steady release rate, I think they could be fine. Personally, I think they could easily be fine moving into 2021 at the very least. Um, Bo Hancock is bae, but I think Nico Robin is a better developed character. That's what I'll say as far as that's concerned. They're both bae, but Nico Robin is a better developed character. She's like my favorite female character in the game. I feel like Tashi wants me to watch hentai. I feel like Tashi really. I feel like it's weird that you're more concerned about me watching. Why did you time out Orion's sword, Lightning? The fuck was that? Why did you time out? Why did you time out Orion's sword? The fuck was that? Orion's sword is cool people. Why are we timing out Orion's sword? The fuck was that? Oh no, Tashi's 100% a troll. Like, that's not even really surprising. Tashi's probably like a dude who just happened upon the stream and is trying to like instigate some shit because he saw like anime characters on my channel and stuff, which is fine. I mean, yeah, I remember when you're on the site for like fucking, what is it, 10 years or so, like you gotta get used to that kind of shit. So why does it say Orion's sword was? It says it was. He was timed out. Let's see. Let me check something real quick. Wait a minute. The fuck? I'm very confused by a lot of things right now. Wait a minute, I just realized something. Tasha, I just went to your channel. Your channel is you, like, drawing anime girls and shit. Well, at least based off of these thumbnails and shit. The fuck? She's over here talking, making fun of weeb life, and you over here fucking drawing succubuses and shit. Is that what this is? You draw etchy art. What the hell? You draw a bunch of etchy art. Unless you took this from somebody else, but this looks like your art. You draw a bunch of etchy artwork. I don't know why YouTube would have blocked that out. But I just taught you, I literally just went to your channel and you draw a bunch of etchy artwork. Unless you just like stole some videos, but what the hell? And look, the art isn't bad by any means. I mean, it's pretty good, but like, why the weird roasting, Tashi? If, like, your channel, your icon is a fucking, I don't know what that is, but if it's anything of these characters, it's like succubuses or something, or like Gerudo women. I don't know, but still. Well, then what the fuck? I gotta figure out what happened to Orion, though. Because Orion just got kicked for no reason. That don't make no fucking sense. Or got timed out, which is some bullshit. I can't. Oh, god damn it. And now I can't find Orion's comments to fucking... Let's see. I think I did that. That should help. Well, that makes even less sense, Tashi. Why are you coming on here? This is a safe environment. We all cool peoples. And you out here trying to roast people. And you out here drawing etchy stuff. And that ain't even bad. It's not, listen, Tashi, and just to understand, this ain't like it's bad art. I don't have anything against this stuff. But I'm like, yo, you can't be out here trying to roast people about weeb life. And you out here drawing etchy material with some trolling stuff on the channel. That's a shame. That's a shame. Sorry, this is the latter half of the stream turned into some complete. I'm fleek. I don't know why YouTube would have timed him out. That's so weird. Well, 300 seconds. That's like what? 5 minutes. So in 5 minutes, he should be back if Orion didn't. That is Christian etchy? How is that Christian etchy, Tashi? The last thing you drew, the last thing you've been drawing is a succubus. That's literally the opposite of Christian. Were you drawing Christian? What the fuck? I'm not gonna link it because you may not want it to be linked. I won't do all that. But yo, your last thing on your channel from like a week ago is you drawing a succubus. And she thick, so we fuck with it. She thick, so we fuck with it. But like, bruh. Or madam. What? Is this like a Sonic? And then you got like a Sonic OC ninja on here. Who's also thick as hell. And once again, I respect my etchy fan artists. Because y'all put in some motherfucking work. But like, yo, don't be out here trying to like fake that you ain't out here on that etchy life. But then come out here trying to make fun of weebs. There's a double standard, ma'am. That's not how this works. Yeah, this is the fucking... Oh, this is your OC. This is you drawing your thick ass hedgehog ninja OC. Come on, yo. You can't do that. Can't be on here roasting people. What the hell is Christian hentai? What the fuck is Christian hentai? Oh, Lord. Did Orion even come back? It's been like, I know it's been like 5 minutes right by now. I'm not sure. But this girl, you out here? What the fuck? Oh, Jesus. Unless Nintendo goes to 400, they are nuts to make people make more than that. 400 is the most they can get away with. And I think even then, only certain people would fuck with it. If it was 400, then cool. Tegra X2 might be the next thing to do. Maybe have a modified version that can do more powerful things. That would put it, I would say, from what I heard from Digital Foundry, that would put it pretty close to like Xbox One power levels, which I think if you modify it, you could get it to go beyond that. The question is how many is going to buy it? Okay, Orion is here. Okay, good. I was very confused. Tashi's been exposed. She has been exposed. I'm sorry. This latter half of this conversation turned into some nonsense because Tashi got here and things got really random. If that was YouTube, I don't understand what YouTube even did. That like the message he had earlier was deleted, and I have no idea what happened. I don't know who timed you out, and I couldn't. It said Lightning did, so I don't know if Lightning's lying, which I don't think he is, or stuff. And now, I like how I like how Tashi's been exposed, and now she's like, "How's everyone doing? We're all doing fine, Tashi. Tashi, if you want to link your Twitter of your thick ass Sonic OC, do that. Cause some people some people fuck with it. The succubus is probably is the best thing I see on here. There's also like this like, I want to say, is this a devil girl or no? There's another succubus. Never mind. It says it on the titles. Another succubus. You got a bunch of thick ass succubus OCs, and they chocolate, which I appreciate. We don't get enough chocolate ass OCs. So if I fucks with it, it's not even me roasting her. It's like I feel like she wanted the attention. Cause like who comes in here and like starts trying to antagonize people, and then like not expect this? Like I could literally, if I wanted to do that, I could just run with it. But I'm not gonna do it. Anyways, yeah, back on topic. Let's see. I think the PS4 or slightly above power portably for Switch logically is the next step. The question for me is Nintendo can finally get a proper online service to match the strong power. That's gonna be a whole question. Oh, so YouTube has had issues with their translator. That would explain it. Nintendo sells so many games that they could just take an L on the price of a new console and make up the money through game sales. Yeah, but Nintendo's not going to do that. If Nintendo's in a position where they're out here winning, they're not going to risk an L for the potential to win some more, especially if they don't think it might not be worth it. So PS4 strength. Fuck. See, I'd be curious how far behind. They said it's stronger than the Wii U, but it's weaker than the Xbox One, which tells me it's probably like middle. Tashi just wanted the attention. That's what she wanted. It's fine. You got it now. Promote your shit. Do it, because the thick ass succubus girls can get it, but they need the representative. Well, I mean, she's drawing Gerudo women, which is kind of close to dark elves, and they are dark. God, they're so chocolate, it's ridiculous. I've gotten completely off topic. I apologize. But no. Fucking. Let's see. But yeah, and I guess, and here's the question though. If the PlayStation 5 is going to be as strong as it is, what does that mean moving forward? Like, what games? Oh, Tashi, I'm not surprised. I mean, there's no shame here. We don't really give a damn. Everybody has their thing. And I'm kind of past the point of like mocking people. As a fan of ecchi, I could give a fuck less if you watch hentai. I think every anime fan has watched hentai, so it's not a problem. With the PS4 power level, they could at least get last gen ports. I think most costly thing would be the CPU. But how much? Do you think they can get that under you think they can get that at $400? That's the question. Can I get a portable, which essentially what I'm asking is, can I get a portable PlayStation 4 for $400 and primarily maintain everything else? Or would there have to be a trade-off? Because if it's a Pro, you couldn't really take anything out of it. And I guess it depends on what kind of pro it is. Is it a pro in the system or is it a pro in the goddamn dock? If it's a pro in the dock, that might be way more of a better idea than trying to do a pro in the system. Because then you'd be like, hey, look, if you want to get a pro, spend $100 on this dock. Now you get a pro. I'm fist my aho yo hentai. As long as that its hentai is vanilla. I don't think. If you're an anime fan, there is no vanilla hentai for you. When you're watching hentai, it's all weird shit. It's all weird shit. And most people found out how much of a freak they are by the hentai that they watched as a kid. Or that they still watch. I don't fucking know. This is so random. I'm sitting there trying to talk about Nintendo and this turned into a hentai conversation. Oh, Jesus. Support the show. Also, that was a poor choice of words, Red Dragon. Bible Black, it's nuts. I see what you did there. And if you didn't do it, I'm going to make the joke for you. What time is it? It's 10 o'clock here. I need to move the fuck on. It's fine. We've gone too far. It's too quick. We're gonna end this. We're gonna look. All right, look. We gotta go. This has gotten too much. I guess the main core points is this. Nintendo actually has a little bit of flexibility of how they want to approach this pro system. They can either pro it up with the dock, or they could pro it up with the console. Or what they could do is maybe get the pro. You could do the pro switch, and then I guess another refresh you could do down the line is a pro dock. It's a pro in both the system and the dock. They would have to use a new chip in the body where the affordable mode, and it would be stronger and possibly in the Switch Dock Mobile. Yeah, I apologize, Jamin. Yeah, but would they do that? Well, see, then that makes it even worse, because then that means you're spending. That means, like, there's no way that's $400, though, to pro up the dock and the console? Well, I guess, here's a better question. If I bought a pro dock, would that boost the power of a normal Switch, though? Would it be able to mesh well with an older Switch that doesn't necessarily have the new chip in it? Or does the new dock only work with the new Switch? Because that might be a way to get around it. That even if you own an old dock, if you own an old Switch, if you buy this dock, you can still get benefits from the new dock. We're not going to do a hentai only stream. Never. I wouldn't do that just purely because we would get taken down by YouTube. I'm pretty sure. I can't even, you know what I want to do? I want to put the hentai stuff in the damn title. And I know I'm going to get flagged for it, so I don't want to do it. So, Lightning, I think you were trying to time out Tashi and you fucked up. That's probably what happened. Well, yeah, I gotta go. I think that's enough. Interesting conversations. Tashi, if nothing else, you made things fun. And very corrupt very quickly. But it's fine. Like I said, if you want to post like your deviant art in the fucking description or in the stream, you can. Promote your stuff if you want to. I don't really care. Anywho, thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for the support. Like I said, subscribe to the channels, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, Insane Game Freak, The Game Manic, The Insane Game Freak. Subscribe, click the notification bell. I understand what you mean, Chidori. Super chats always appreciated but not required. Patreon is appreciated but not required. Thank you for the support. Thank you for hanging out. Thank you guys for hanging out. And we're gonna do this again later. And if you want more, and side note, just to mention it, if you want more societal discussions, tweet me any ideas or any topics you want me to cover. Anime wise, it's the same thing. I try to be pretty responsive on Twitter, so those are all things you can do. And with all that being said, this has been the Insane Game Freak. Life's a game, play to win, and I will catch you guys Later. Also, ecchi is bae, but hentai is queen. Thank you and good night.